The Agena target vehicle would now, if it is in orbit, would have would have crossed the western coast of Australia and been well over the Australian continent. It would be now, even at this time, just about passing out of range of the Carnarvon station. As you heard that report from Paul Haney in the first 2 minutes, when Carnarvon should have been able to find and locate the Agena with the use of radar, it was unable to find Agena anywhere in the skies approaching Western Australia. The situation does not look good. The code words they're using from Carnarvon seem to be expressive of everybody's feelings in the space program at this moment. No joy, no joy. The countdown at Houston, at Cape Kennedy on the Gemini launch is now being held. It's held at T-minus 42 minutes. Here is Paul Haney in Houston.
The mission has been scrubbed. We have scrubbed the mission for the day. Because Carnarvon is not acquired, we can assume the Atlas, the Agena vehicle went into the Atlantic some 5,500 miles short of the desired velocity. The flight director scrubbed the mission at about 54 minutes after the hour. We'll probably get additional reports on crew egress from the Cape, and as things develop down there, Jack King will bring them to you. This is Gemini Control, Houston.
And there is the failure of GT-6 through no fault of the intense planning for rendezvous and docking, which had been the purpose of this mission, but through a failure in the very first stages of the flight of Agena. The Agena missile, the 26-foot long and 5-foot wide in diameter tracking missile that was supposed to go up first into orbit 185 miles above the Earth and then to be chased by the manned Gemini spacecraft, did not acquire orbit, dropped back into the Atlantic, and Gemini 6 has had to be scrubbed. This means, according to the advanced planning, at least a 2-month delay in the Gemini 6 launch. Instead, the space program, not to lose its momentum, will go ahead with Gemini 7 out of order. Without waiting for Gemini 6, they will now take the Gemini 6 capsule, from which right at this moment the hatches are being removed so that astronauts Sherraw and Stafford can dismount and come back to Earth without ever having taken off. They will take that Gemini 6 capsule off the top of the Titan rocket. Instead, they will place the Gemini 7 capsule for a flight of 14 days, which will come about the end of November. That flight has no direct connection with the Gemini 6 flight, so this out-of-order sequence can be pursued quite safely. The Gemini 7 flight is the last of the purely medical flights, the long-endurance flights, to be sure that a man can find the atmosphere of space or the space environment compatible, that he can live there for 2 long weeks without suffering heart and bone deterioration, a thing that apparently the Russians have begun to worry about, and we have had some concern about, although after that 1-week flight it's been proved that man can at least survive a week in space, and that's long enough to go to the moon and back. But he also has to find out how to rendezvous and to dock, and that was the purpose of Gemini 6. We won't know more about that now until early in 1966. After that, there will be 5 other missions also involved with rendezvous and docking to prove out all of the systems necessary to move ahead with the moon space program, the Apollo program. But until rendezvous and docking has been established as a workable, feasible system in space, we cannot go ahead with the moon program. This delay today should not mean an ultimate delay in the Apollo program. That phase of the Apollo program right now, of course, will continue right up until this test has been conducted successfully, and we are waiting, they will be waiting for that. We want to now take another look at the Atlas Agena launch, which took place just an hour ago. And as we look at this, we might keep an eye out for what Chuck Von Fremd has told us from the Cape, that observers down there thought they saw a little unplanned fire in the umbilical cord, perhaps just before the launch, which may have had something to do with what has transpired today. There's the launch. Chuck, I hope you're watching this at the Cape as well.
Yes, I am, Walter, and I think that just confirms the views of a lot of us down here as to what happened. Just before liftoff there, you could see the umbilical burning.
Well, I wonder if we can get that thing re-racked now. If they could stop that and re-rack it, we can take even another look at it in the couple of minutes maybe we've got left here. If I can get confirmation from our control room that they could re-rack it, we can take another look. Now, and you tell us, Chuck, just what we're going to look for.
Walter, I look at when it says about 4 seconds superimposed on the videotape here, and then look at the right-hand side and look for the fire just at liftoff.
At the right, at the umbilical cord where it comes into the Atlas?
That's right, and this, of course, supplies the power that is needed during the final seconds of the launch.